Hey, welcome, friends, to the Push to Pass podcast. I've got a big treat today for you, folks. The four-time USAC Sprint Car champion, second in all-time feature wins, the winner of the first BC 39 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome, the pride of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Macho Man, Brady Bacon. Brady, welcome to the Push to Pass podcast.
Yeah, JP, thanks for having me on.
Hey, I know it's in the middle of the 12 days of Brady Bacon Christmas, man. So I know you're really busy. Thanks for spending a little bit of time. And today, I know there's a lot of stuff out there about your racing career. And today we're going to kind of focus on some of the underlying business aspects of what you've built. You're a racer with a lot of different business dimensions. You race the cars, you manage that fleet. You're a promoter. You're probably one of the most successful merchandisers in motorsports. How have all of those business roles evolved for you? And maybe were they intentional or did they just happen organically? A combination of all those things. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think it just kind of happened over time. I just kind of found that the more control that I had over my situation correlated with the more success that I had. So I tried to just kind of build up a situation where I could kind of oversee the team and those aspects, behind the scenes before you get to the racetrack so that I could better do my job when I got to the racetrack. And also, it's a pretty volatile industry and it gave me some stability. So I could really focus on building something for the future and not have to worry every 6 months if my car owner changed his tune or someone else was calling trying to take my seat. So the merchandising part just kind of happened along with that. My wife was a part when I started my team all the way back in 2010, 2011. She started selling, doing the extra work. We had a tent and a table and a chair, and we'd haul it up every night to the top of the grandstands, and she'd set up there and sell shirts, and we'd take it back down every single night and go to the next place to do it again on top of, washing the car and maintaining. And it was just me and one guy and her on the road in 2012, which was the year that kind of started taking off. And then we finally got a t-shirt trailer after that. But that makes it a little easier, but also adds another dimension of another, vehicle going up and down the road that you have to worry about and make sure that it gets there.
It's
And
something
now
you got to manage, but it's diversified revenue streams is what you're talking. That's basically what it
yeah.
is, right?
And also with the motorhome, it gives us a place to stay, and then gives us some separation from the crew, which is good to give everyone a break from each other every once in a while. You get stacked on top of each other going up and down the road for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Tensions can start getting a little thick, so it provides a little bit better of an atmosphere, so you can everyone can have their own time in their own space and be ready to perform when they get to the racetrack.
Yeah. And it also gives you a chance to your growing family and the kids are growing up, gives you a chance at times to bring them along too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't once you start traveling with kids in a motorhome, it's really hard to go back to traveling in a car. It's they'll go 12 hours in a motorhome. We'd rather do that than go 3 hours in a car.
Right. Right. You take the kids down the street to pick up the groceries type of thing because it's more convenient. Uh, hey, let's talk about social media. You've got a great presence there. I remember last year about this time, we ran a program for about a 2 week period that garnered nearly 1 million impressions. I think it's 996,000. How do you kind of stay current with that and continue to build the presence? And has it helped you with some of your other business lines as well?
Yeah, I think we were maybe a little ahead of the curve when the social media started kind of happening. My wife actually started, she would post updates of the races before this was before the streaming days where everyone had access to everything all the time. So as opposed to waiting till the results came out after the race, she would post updates throughout the night. And that's kind of what started some of our social media following. And then obviously as that the need for that went away, we tried to just stay, you know, posting stuff and now social media is the strongest advertising, the form of advertising today for businesses. And it's a little harder for us to maybe stay on top because everyone else has figured out the value to it, but we try to just consistency and consistently post stuff and keep people up to date with what's going on, and kind of try to keep it diverse. What we post: personal stuff, racing stuff, merchandise stuff, sponsor stuff. You get too heavy on one thing and it gets a little monotonous, but we try to do fun stuff, fun little videos, make fun of ourselves a little bit, and then also, you know, informational stuff where people might not get to get that information at the track. We don't have time to explain it, but we can do a little short video and give some of the people the behind the scenes technology that goes into sprint car racing.
I think people get to know you a lot better and your family. I certainly have through those unique videos that you do. And as you mentioned, I mean, the businesses now, when I'm talking to brands that are looking for partnerships, it's probably, if it isn't the first, it's the second question they ask. What's the following? And kind of transitioning over into partners a little bit. You had the opportunity to bring in the Petroleum Alliance of Oklahoma with the Chili Bowl. We might as well announce it here. They're on board for 2024 as well. You brought in Daredevil Brewing as a new partner. So you're continuing to do that, but keeping some of your current folks happy as well. I want to ask you though, are there categories that you think in the partnership area you could do a great job for, you're well positioned for, that are gaps that you might want to make people familiar with or bring their awareness to today?
Yeah, we have actually quite a few, openings, and I think we just kind of try to cater to whatever the sponsor or partner needs, and I think we have the platform to do that. Whether it's fan loyalty, professionalism, a good reputation, a track record of success, social media presence. We have a lot of tools in our bag that we can offer our sponsors, and I think we're some of the best at really getting to the heart of what the sponsor wants, what the partner wants, and trying to deliver that, as opposed to a generic vanilla. Here's what we can do for you. This is how much it costs. We really want to get at what they're trying to achieve with the partnership and deliver that to the best of our ability.
I think you're right about that. The ability to deliver in these multi-channels exactly and about their KPIs, the things that they want to perform in, is really important. The one that makes me look, that I keep thinking about, and it keeps me up at night, is someone in the dairy food or the meat processing space. Like, we could do so many things with a bacon company, an egg company, breakfast, anything like that, man. It's just driving me nuts. I wish we'd grab one, and we're working on it. But man, if there's somebody out there, we've got an opportunity, a lot of good ideas for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're known for some of our creative, catchphrases and things like that, and special design T-shirts, and fans really look forward to that, kind of seeing what we have coming up next, and it really gives our sponsors an extra boost, because they're included on all those programs as well.
Yeah, and that may be, we were going to talk about the strengths of this effort, and I think that could be it. Your ability to come up with some unique ideas, the co-branding on the merchandise and the apparel. Is that where you think they might get the most value, or is it the fact that you can, make changes and deliver on the needs of that sponsor? Is that where you think you're probably best suited?
Yeah, I think we're just suited to deliver what they want.
Yeah.
If they know what they want, sometimes they might, see something in what they're getting out of it, and maybe change their focus on what they're trying to get or what's working. And we're able to do that too. I mean, we're probably one of the most diverse teams. We run with the marquee midget events,
Yeah.
marquee wing sprint car events, and all the USAC national non-wing sprint car events. So we go to more places and are more diversified than probably any other open wheel team out there.
Yeah, Brady, and I think you hit on another thing right there, and that is the opportunity and to stay in touch with that partner, because their priorities may change over time. Early on, it may be about branding. Another time, it might be about customer acquisition and activation of some point that's might be even a little bit different for them. So it's always important to stay in touch with what their priorities are, because it may change over season or even within a season. Um, Speaking of seasons, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. You follow the business of this sport as a promoter and as a driver and as an entrepreneur, if you will. So the business of sprint car racing, everybody knows, is changing. It's evolving. We've got new sanctioning and promoting events that are out there. There's a lot more happening with High Limit, USAC, World of Outlaws, all these different groups, some going away. What's your overall view of what the future looks like for the sprint car sport, if you will, and maybe open wheel dirt racing?
Yeah, I think there's portions of it that are going to really elevate it themselves. There's events that are going to be extremely elevated. I think that's kind of what the fans have shown that they want. They want to go to the biggest race that pays the most money with the most good cars, and that's what's working right now. I think the smaller events, the local races that aren't the national touring series with the biggest names are probably gonna struggle a little bit or have to maybe pivot on their business model. But the big money races, the big marquee events is really what's taken off in the last few years. And streaming is some of it, just so people can be familiar with those events, but then for those events to continually provide great entertainment value on and off the track so that they make themselves a destination where people don't just want to watch it at home. They want to be there and be a part of it. And that's what these bigger events, I think, are creating and making basically must-see events for their area of the country.
And Brady Bacon's never been someone that shied away from a big purse and a big opportunity as well, right?
Right. Yeah, it's great, really great for the racers, especially in the wing sprint car deal, because there's going to be times when there's big money in multiple places, which hasn't ever really happened in wing sprint car racing. It's kind of starting to mirror the super late model, dirt late model atmosphere, which cultivates the ability for a lot more teams to sustain themselves. So I think that'll be good, and it just see what this year happens. I think everyone's kind of thinking it's going to be this person's going to win, or this person, or this series is going to win, or this series is going to win. I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. I think there's room for both of them to survive and deliver the unique things that each of them specialize in to certain tracks and certain events all over the country.
Yeah. That's absolutely a great perspective, and one from somebody that should know. Hey Brady, let's end up the show here with a real quick opportunity for you to kind of tell people how to connect with you, and especially around your website and some of your merchandise and apparel. What do you have going on for the holiday season?
Yeah, we have a special every day. The first 12 days of December, we have a special each day, something discounted a lot, and we have little videos and graphics and everything to kind of keep people entertained. People follow along with that. The website's bradybaconracing.com. There's also contact information, some of our background information, our recent results from the past couple of years, and an easy way for fans and potential sponsors to get a hold of us and kind of see a little bit of what we're about and what we're up to. Our new schedule will be posted momentarily. We got some other schedules we're waiting on coming up here during PRI this week. And then the tedious task for me to kind of put it all together and see what works. There's a lot more options this year. So a lot of option A, B, C, and D, and might have to hire a part-time meteorologist in the spring to figure out which direction we're going to point the truck and which races we're going to. But try to keep everyone up to date as much as we can on that. And, it's getting more difficult as all businesses are these days to have a successful race team. So really got to, work hard this year and try to get that 5th championship and get the success on and off the track that we know we deserve.
Well, I'm glad you could spend a few minutes with us, Brady. We're just absolutely grateful for the opportunity to have you on the show and be able to work with you. Folks, let me tell you something. This is the best business racer I've ever been involved with. He delivers every single time. And if you are a potential partner out there looking for an opportunity, as he mentioned earlier, he can find the way to deliver on your goals and a budget that's good for your company. So Brady, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.